If I asked you how to define a sisterhood, what would you say? This is Tracy with Tracy Talks, a podcast about life, looking at life from a new perspective to gain wisdom and understanding in hopes to know yourself more. There are only a few experiences that I can count where I would define them as a true sisterhood. So many of my relationships with females have been complicated, and that's probably a good word to describe it. Oftentimes, my relationships have taken on a more intimate connection where it's one-on-one or extremely small groups versus a larger group of women. And I don't know if this is the case for everyone, but it has shown up in my life that oftentimes the more women that get together in a group, the more disconnection and it becomes complicated. The dynamics become complicated. And when you have, let's just use an example, 10 to 12 women in a group, and oftentimes you will get two, couples that connect, or maybe three women that connect, but rarely have I had the experience where all 12 women were able to cohesively connect in the group. And I'm wondering what needs to shift and what needs to happen for women to really come together into a sisterhood. And what does that mean? What container does that look like? I've recently had an opportunity to be loosely included into a group of men. And I would say that there is a true brotherhood here. And I know it's probably taken years to develop this type of unspoken connection and relationship. I know it's probably taken a lot of hours and a lot of time and more than I can even imagine. But what I'm witnessing here is there is a natural coming together. Egos are let down, and the brotherhood becomes almost instinctual, that if somebody needs something, that it's really not even asked, it's unspoken, that somebody just steps up and steps in, doesn't ask. There is no, will you do this for me? And if I do this for you, will you do this for me? There's none of that. And I'm wondering, where can women come together in that same type of sisterhood and not be mean and snarky and judgmental? Most of my adult relationships with women has come into the workplace. And so often, so many of the relationships are extremely contentious, that women are just horrible to other women. What needs to happen for this to change? What needs to happen? I mean, we give a lot of lip service about holding other women up. We give a lot of lip service about, how can we support women and promote women? And yet still, so often in daily life, there's a lot of circumstances where women are still holding each other back. There are so many examples where women see deception in other women and lies, and she wants my man and she wants this, and maybe the core of all of that is really just our own relationship with ourselves. That these insecurities that show up in group dynamics with women, those are just a place where our own securities come out. And maybe that's why we can't have that true sisterhood, because we haven't healed our own wounds. We still have our own securities. We still have our own needs and wants that aren't being met. And that's why we can't show up and be fully supportive of the group. We can't fully support the group because we can't fully support ourselves and our own identity. I don't know, it was just interesting for me to be on the peripheral of seeing a true brotherhood and just watching how the relationships were unfolding and how they were connecting and how words aren't even being spoken and things are just happening. People are just doing. There's no snarky comments. There's no passive aggressive behaviors. And it really just kind of hit me in the heart where it's like, well, why can't women have that? Why can't we have that? I know that we can have that. And I know that it's going to take time to create an environment where instincts take over and we start investing in the sisterhood. It's like a savings account where you put small amounts of money in and then it grows into something more. And that's what a sisterhood can be, is where we invest small amounts of ourselves, small amounts of what we can do and what we have to offer. And then at some point, we all benefit from the sisterhood. That we don't take out more than we need, that we don't steal from somebody else, that we don't take advantage of somebody else. It's a whole shift in how we think and how we act and how we move through the world. I know there's so many people that have never really had somebody that they can count on, somebody that they can feel safe to be vulnerable with. That so many of us women have just been white knuckling it through life, feeling very alone, just getting through it alone. I mean, what would it feel like to have a group of women that you could just be around, be in the presence of? And there is an unspoken knowing that exists, that lives, that grows, that breeds, that multiplies. An unspoken knowing. Imagine what it would feel like to have a place where you could let all of your walls down, show up as you are, and know that you are supported and loved. Imagine what that would feel like. Thank you for listening to this podcast of Tracy Talks. Please like and share with others who would enjoy listening to this podcast. And until next time, we meet again.